Retro.
Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today.
You are now live with the Locked In Podcast. As always, your hosts for the evening, Steve Ushler and George Menchai. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on to stay up to date with the most current personal development tips and sports analysis. With that being said, welcome to the podcast and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, guys. Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 186. Just give me 1 second here. So welcome back, guys. Welcome back in. I'm hoping we get a decent amount of people in here tonight. We shall see. To be honest, the next few weeks are really exciting. We have a lot of stuff going on, but because of reschedules, this should be the final week we have any issues with any type of reschedules or anything like that. I do have backup plans set up in place for anything if cancellations occur or anything of that nature, at least for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm also working on getting that throughout the remainder of 2024, all the way through end of December. So currently working on that. That's what we'll be taking these marketing meetings for and stuff like that. So this is going to be up front with you guys. Really excited about what we have going for the remainder of this month. This is early October. So next week, we're actually going to have a Philadelphia Phillies postseason episode. Should have some great guests in here for that one I know ones that are already locked in and confirmed, and we already have a good amount there. 3 to 4 people are already locked in for that one. And we might have another 2 to 3 coming on as well. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be next Thursday. Time is TBD at this point. Probably somewhere between 6:30 to 7:30 is when we're going to kick off. And that is going to be on Thursday, October 10th. excited for that. Week after that, we're gonna have we got a couple different topics here coming on. So the week after that, we may be doing our after hours episode. If not, we're gonna switch. We're gonna kind of revise the episodes. Like, we'll not revise, but we'll reschedule. We'll put them in different places for different weeks. So we already have the topics. We already have the guests. Just depending on where we got to plug them. So we're gonna have an after hours episode coming up at some point this month. Not sure if it's going to be in 2 weeks or 3, but between those 2 weeks, we're gonna also have. It's either going to be after hours or we're gonna actually have. I'm gonna aim for a weekend episode with special guest Frank Veneziali. He was on last year to talk fitness. Great dude. He's doing a lot of great things with the business right now. So I'm definitely gonna bring Frank in. Unfortunately, that is going to be a weekend episode, guys. It's not going to be a Thursday. It's not going to be a Wednesday. First weekend episode we've ever done. So we've never done a weekend episode here, but Frank's schedule is so crazy is that we're going to have to kind of get him in on the weekend. So we're going to see. It's either going to be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but we're going to get Frank in here some point this month. I forget the exact episode number, but guys, if you go back to last September on our YouTube channel, you can go see the episode with Frank. It was a fitness related episode. So that was about a year ago. So he was on here a year ago. So Frank will be coming on either 2 or 3 weeks. It's, but if whatever week he's not on, after hours. So that's going to be after hours part 6. So we're kind of juggling those two. Next week, though, Phillies episode, October 10th, postseason. 3 or 4 guests already locked in, maybe another 2 to 3 coming on. That's October 10th. TBD on the time, either somewhere between 6:30 to 7:30. Excited for that. And then to cap this month off, we're actually going to have Bryce Simmons coming on here. Bryce is going to be coming on a Wednesday. That Wednesday is going to be, I think here, 24th, 20. That's going to be the 23rd. So it's going to be October 23rd. We're going to have Bryce in here, and he is going to be talking finance-related stuff, business-related stuff. Excited for that. We're kind of fiddling around with the topic there, but it's going to be something in that realm. So that'll be October 23rd. So a great, next 4 episodes coming up. Next 4 to 6 weeks, we have that locked in. And then we also have backup contingency plans kind of set up for if the guests cannot come in. So then we're just trying to kind of get our content schedule wrapped up until the end of the year to end of December after that. So that's what we're working on right now. Tonight's episode, though, 186, we're talking about how to be silently attractive. I'm going to break down what I mean by that ultimately throughout this episode. And tonight's episode with the guests, tentative. This is my team here. Here's my squad: Rich, Robin, Mario. They're part of the squad here at Locked In Nation and Locked In Podcast. So I'm the main host here. Obviously at one point I started this with George, but it's now me, Rob, Rich, and Mario. If those guys cannot come in tonight, all of them are dealing with something separate. We're going to see if they come in. If not, I'm going to be just hosting this one solo tonight, and that's okay. Anybody who wants to come in to maybe, as I'm kind of discussing this and it's something maybe you're interested in hopping on camera or just even commenting, just comment in. If you do want to actually join the live stream, I'll have to send you a private link. So if you do want to come in, just let me know. I'm not sure how many guests we're how many people we're gonna get to tune into this one tonight, but hopefully it is a good one. Here tonight, 186. Sorry for guys for the late promo here, but we are here. So silently attractive. What do I mean by that? What do we mean by silently attractive? When you hear that, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Silently attractive is kind of building a silent aura about yourself. In life, we tend to think, especially for men, most men, think, being loud and means you're dominant, means you're, alpha, like how they used to like to use the word, alpha, like you're dominant because you're loud and, but so honestly, realistically, usually the people who talk the most or talk the loudest as you get older, you start to kind of figure out that that's really not the case. A lot of people overspeak, a lot of people overtalk. It doesn't necessarily mean they're dominant alpha or anything like that. Usually people who overspeak, it's usually from either nervousness. It's usually either from, it could be a whole list of things, but there's a lot of detriments that kind of come with speaking too much or talking too much. Number one, you're not really thinking before you really make a logical response. So that can be an issue. Also, when we tend to overtalk or overspeak, we tend to reveal a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily, number one, either relevant or, things that we don't really necessarily want to reveal to somebody else, but maybe we're just talking out of nervousness. So we overspeak or we overtalk. This is a habit, that I notice in a lot of people. And I used to kind of do it myself a little bit, to be honest. So I've been there, but I notice it even, now, in a lot of different people, that a lot of people just tend to talk more and then reveal too much. A lot of people reveal their next move to people. A lot of times they're always talking about their next move or what they're doing. So when I tell you about the podcast here, that's just future episodes to kind of keep you guys understanding what the content schedule is. But back end plans and things like that, I try to kind of keep under wraps, try to keep them a little quiet. So like we're not really talking, or even in my personal life, any goals or accomplishments, I try to keep them relatively quiet. People in my close circle may know about them, but I am a big believer that if you speak too much on something, it can honestly not happen. So we do create our own destiny. We create our own, our work ethic, everything in this life. However, sometimes things may not tend to work out. I've seen this with guys with girls. Guy meets a girl and he's super excited about this girl. He's telling all his friends about this girl and talking on there. And I've been there too, back in the day, you're telling your friends and all this stuff about this girl. And then guess what? It doesn't work out. And now you look like a fucking big bag of shit because you just went and told everybody about it or whatever like that. So that's an example in the personal, dating side. Happens in business, personal goals, anything, to be honest. We overtalk, we overspeak, and there's a lot of pitfalls that come down with that. Now, the silent part about it is like you kind of grow up and you think that, being silent makes you the weird one. You're introverted, you're weird, you're the dorky or nerdy person because you're not talking and stuff like that. You're not speaking. But as I've grown older, I have noticed that some of the most dominant, most, successful people don't speak a lot. They don't speak a lot. They're not the loudest person in the room. They take up space physically, and that's actually going to be one of my points of how you actually can be silent, become silently attractive. One of them is going to be to take up space physically. So like I challenge you, and the next time you're out at a social outing, what do I mean by that? Hold your frame physically. So what I mean is like don't slouch, shoulders back, take up space, speak openly. Don't, like, when you are speaking and when you're not like over talking, but you honestly are contributing something to a conversation, speak with a dominant frame. Keep your shoulders back. Don't sit there and slouch. Honestly, be engaged in the conversation, but just take some space up physically. It honestly is a more attractive feature, especially from from a masculine perspective for men out there, is to kind of take up that space. Like what I mean by silently attractive too is kind of like a quiet confidence. It means that you're okay with silence. So if there's a conversation and there's some dead silence, you don't need to nervously just fill the air by talking just to fill that void. And this is something that I've gotten very comfortable with over the years. Is like I'm really starting to do this more and more now. Is to just, if there is something to the conversation and there's just nothing to be said in that moment, just stay relatively quiet. And it might feel weird for a second, but as you start to do it more, it's like, you just take a little pause before you speak or before you say something. Don't just say something to say something. And it honestly kind of shows other people that, you have the confidence to do that realistically. So that's definitely something, but that's definitely something that people, think. I notice that with people, if people are quiet or confident enough not to like overspeak or something like that, it's something I pick up on, that the person's like relatively a confident person most of the time. But silence is just that's what I say. Like growing up, you start to think that silence is, it makes you weird or something like that. It's actually not. What you need to do is you kind of need to set the frame. And you need to set the frame that you're actually a confident, like in your mind, you need to be understanding that, like, taking a step back from the conversation, or when you're in a group setting or whatever, taking a step back and not being the one that's speaking all the time, not filling the air, with conversation, and, still contributing to the conversation. Obviously, you don't want to just be not contributing at all. Nobody's going to have a conversation with you. You're not going to be able to have fulfilling, effective conversations if you're not speaking at all. But don't be the one that, says everything. Hang back and let other people speak, let other people talk. And honestly, if you're someone who already does overspeak or overtalks, you'll start to realize how much better you feel not doing that. I feel like everybody's always fighting to get a word in a conversation, and it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Now, there's a difference. I'll actually stay on this for now, but there is a difference between people cutting you off consistently when you're speaking, and then you just saying nothing and standing back. There's a difference to that. When somebody cuts you off or something in conversation, there's a fine line. It's different. Maybe it happens once, but if it happens again, like a second time, you have to be willing to speak up and cut that off. So, if somebody is, you're remaining relatively quiet, quiet confidence in conversation. But if people cut you off, don't let them disrespect you in conversation. So when people sometimes just do it subconsciously. Now, you don't have to be malicious in your response back to it. Just be like, hey, look, I just noticed, you've cut me off a couple times in conversation, no disrespect. I would just like to be able to get my point across, and then you can speak. You know what I mean? Especially if you're letting them speak, don't be cutting the other person off either. You know what I mean? It's very important to have an effective conversation. And I've had many conversations, whether it be in business, my career, personal conversations, where, I'm cut off in conversation. And I reacted at different spots throughout my life. I reacted in different ways throughout my life. So when I was younger, I would just get mad. Like I'd get mad. Like I would get kind of agitated and mad that someone's coming up. So I would speak more and try to cut them off. And here, next thing you know, it's just like subconscious. You're both cutting each other off. You're not having an effective conversation. And then as I kind of grew up a little bit more, what I started to do is I started to just let the person cut me off, and then just continue to let them speak, and then try to speak my point and still do it. And now I realize you have to have a mix here. You don't need to aggressively cut the other person off, because then it's no effective conversation. You know what I mean? Just call it out. Just call it out. Be direct. Call it out in a respectful way. And then you'd be surprised how often it stops after that. Not everybody, though. I'll be honest. Not everybody. And it's hard to have an honest conversation, a legitimate conversation with people that consistently cut off. And I've had this happen in work scenarios. So say your manager, someone who does it, you're in a weird spot, right? You talk about it, but then it's like also you're in a weird position, because I've had it happen to me in work. And it's a little different there, but in personal conversations, you can kind of tell the person, hey, look, if you're going to continue to cut me off, like, just respectfully, I think we should have this conversation another time. You can walk away. Now, in work, you got to kind of find a way around it. It's not easy, to be honest, because it's like, it's your boss, it's professional, it's work. And sometimes old habits die hard. So if there's somebody who's been doing this their entire life, it becomes very challenging for them to, change their demeanor. But just understand, call out, behavior in certain things, and you know what I mean, or just call out, you know what I mean? So that's definitely important as well. And I think that kind of shows a quiet confidence to you. You don't have to sit there and take somebody cutting you off, because it's a respect thing. We allow people, the respect that we get from people is what we tolerate. So like, if we tolerate disrespect for such a long time, people understand, and it might not even be malicious, not intentional, but it could be subconscious, which means they're doing it unintentionally, but it's because they've understood for such a long time that they could get away doing that with you. So, our respect is given to us it's strictly based off what we tolerate. It's strictly based off of what we tolerate. So, one of the other things I would say is, when we grow up, we also start to believe that manners aren't cool, right? So like, we're like, we can be a little rebellious, and that makes me cool, and that makes this, and I got to be an asshole and stuff like that. As you get older, you start to realize, though, that manners are actually cool. And it actually, I don't know, like when I meet somebody, like it's just a friendship, whatever, somebody in business, whatever. Um, and they actually have respect and they manage that. I think there's a big takeaway from that because it's actually a little bit more rare as you get older than it really is. I don't know. I have more respect for people who have respect for me. So if you have respect and you have manners, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be more inclined to you know to have conversations with you and to kind of have those I don't know, like we might not have things in common, but keep those types of people around, because if you have respect for me, I have respect for you. But increasingly we just see so many people have such disrespect nowadays. It's really difficult. They're very very one-sided, very very selfish, and it's very difficult to have a friendship or have any type of relationship with these people. So have manners. Manners are not. It's not fucking. It's not. Doesn't make you fucking weak to have manners. Manners is and respect is actually, it goes a long way. And I'm telling you, a lot of people will remember it if you honestly have manners when you're talking to somebody. So it goes a long way. It definitely goes a long way. Um, Another thing that kind of goes with this that people will remember, I'm gonna tell you right now, to have to be silently attractive to other people, is when you're texting. And this is something that I definitely had to dial back. And sometimes I still text a little bit too much. Like, and I actually, people who know me know that I fucking suck at texting. I fucking suck at responding. I will initiate text to people on like a same day, and then I'll take fucking days to respond to some people. And people who are watching this might know that certain people in my life definitely it's a what I mean, like it's like I'm in a relationship, so it's like obviously my partner Desi, obviously like she's gonna get, like when I'm talking to somebody, she's gonna get priority, right? Like not priority, but like I'm gonna respond. So certain people in my life, family, certain friends. Oh, we actually got Mario in here. Let me bring him in real quick. Yo, my brother, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man? How are you, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for joining in, bro.
Sure, no problem, man. Sorry for being late, dude. I kind of left work late and just finished dinner, so figured I'd hop on for a little bit before we bounce out.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah, I'll probably go like another half hour. I've only been in here like, what is that, 22 minutes or whatever. Um, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. I put you and the boys down as tentative today, man, because I didn't know who was gonna make it. So if nobody came on, I was just gonna hit this one by myself. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on.
Sure, no problem, bro. No problem, man. Yeah, I was hoping the other guys would be here too. I didn't realize you were by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, nah, it's okay, man. It's okay. The next few weeks, I was just telling everybody, man, we got some good episodes coming up. We got the Phillies one next week, and then I'm actually doing an after hours. I don't know if it's in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it kind of depends on when Frank Veneziali, who came on last year, comes on. I'm doing a weekend episode with him at some point, so that's either in 2 to 3 weeks. And then to cap this month off, Bryce is going to be coming in at the end of the month. So next 4 episodes are actually going to be pretty lit. I'm hoping to maybe have you on for a couple of those, maybe the after hours and the Phillies one or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. The only thing is, if do the Phillies play next week, or are you going live like on the day they're playing, or is it on the day off?
That's actually a good point, man. Game five, if it goes to game five, would be Friday. So actually, let me look that up. Let me look at the Philly schedule. I actually think that we might not. I think they play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they're off Thursday, which would actually be freaking perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so they actually play Saturday, Sunday, off Monday. Then they go, and then they would go to and they still would do this because it doesn't matter. It's a 3 game series. They have to travel there. They would go to either Milwaukee or New York for Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, and if it goes game five, Friday will be in Citizens Bank Park back here in Philly. So they're actually off on Thursday. So it actually lines up perfect.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that episode. I can join in after work.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I said. Like I said TBD on the time, but probably realistically like tonight 7:30, because it's 6:30 is just so tight for people nowadays. It's very difficult if they get off work at 5:30. So 7:30 is probably realistically be the start time next week.
Yeah, nah, they're 7:30, 8 o'clock. I think is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So and then we'll sprinkle in after hours at some point there. So um yeah, man, got some good episodes coming up. I was just talking about this silent aura thing, man. I was saying that when we're younger, we tend to think that like we have to the loudest person in the room is like the most dominant because they speak loud or they talk a lot. But as I've gotten older, I've really noticed that being silent is kind of like a hidden superpower, man. Um, when we're younger, we tend to think that, oh, being silent is weak, is submissive, it's kind of dorky, like, oh, we're weird, we're silent. It's actually not the truth at all, man. Some of the most successful dominant people that I know are actually people that are in conversation. They kind of they're not the people that overspeak or overtalk in conversation. They kind of hang back and let other people talk. So that's what I was kind of saying by like a silent superpower or a silently attractive. I'm not sure if it's something you notice, but it's definitely something that I notice. I notice that people that tend to overspeak are people that tend to be very nervous in conversation. They're not comfortable with silence. They tend to speak more. And I used to kind of be one of those people, to be honest. And it's something that I really subconsciously now try to work on when I'm in conversation with other people. I'm not sure if it's something that you've noticed, but I think that silence is actually really um, key when you're gathering your thoughts and effectively responding to people.
Yeah, no, I've definitely noticed that as well. Especially when it comes with age and maturity. I think the older you grow, the more wiser you become. You start to learn from your past experiences. And so when you're in a room full of people and you're taking in everything that everybody's saying, I think sometimes it's just good to step back and listen to what people have to say and then use response with a logical, conversation. But I think it just comes with age and experience. I think when you're younger, you tend to be more of a show off. You think you're better than everybody. You think you know everything better than everybody. But I think what happens is with age, age humbles you. Life humbles you, and the older you get, the more you experience. And I think that just comes through with age, honestly.
Absolutely. I agree with that 110%. I Let's be honest, man, you're always somebody I've always noticed when we're in like group conversations sometimes, man. You kind of just you hang back and then you respond eventually and listen, bro. I noticed that about you a lot, man. Like we'll be in
Yeah,
conversation.
I tend to use logic a lot. I try not to be emotional and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's just the way I'm built. Not that when I was younger I was super emotional or anything like that. I think when I was younger I was just much more shy and I wasn't very assertive. I didn't take control. But now the older, that I'm getting, I'm now in my 30s. So I use logic everywhere I go. I read the room, I read the conversation, I listen to what other people are saying, I take everything in, and then based upon those things, that's when I give a response. And I think, as men, we definitely have to lead by action. Actions speak louder than words. So just because you're the loudest dude in the room, that doesn't mean you're right or anything like that. If
Yeah.
anything, I think some of the most insecure people are usually the loudest ones in the room and shit. They have to mask that insecurity by being loud. They have to compensate for it in other areas.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%, man. I love that logic and reading the room. 110% when you're in a conversation with people is very critical.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you remember, I know probably not a whole lot of your viewers watch Fresh and Fit, but they had a sit down talk, like a question and answers with their guests. And there was this guest on who, he was formerly in prison and stuff like that. So they were having a question and answers with the panel. And this dude, because he was jacked, he thought he was the best one in the room and stuff like that. So he was having a debate with the other person there in the panel, and he's going off. He's screaming, he's yelling. He's like, "Oh, I'm better than you. I'm better than you." And if you look at the other
mhm.
guy, I forgot what his name was. I would have to go back and look the video. But the other guy is just very stoic, very calm. Knows how to debate his points, and he just absolutely got schooled. And that right there really showed to me that just because you're the loudest doesn't mean you're the brightest in the room and stuff like that. I think we have to learn to channel that emotion or whatnot and just respond in a much more good way.
100%.
Yeah, and
I agree.
the clip that I'm talking about because me and you've discussed that in the past.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, so the guy who's on this podcast, yeah, it was like an event Fresh and Fit had. I recognized a lot of the influencers that were there. But yeah, no, the guy that Mario's talking about is this guy in particular, and you guys can look this up. His name is actually Wes Watson, and he's this super jacked bald dude. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, man, the guy looks phenomenal body wise,
Mhm.
man. He's jacked up. I'm sure he's on gear, you know what I mean, test whatever. But I mean, the dude he's jacked up. He's tatted. He's got good style and stuff like that. No takeaway from no disrespect there. Um, but being alpha or high value goes a lot further than how you look. Yes, how you look shows self-discipline and shows, discipline that you've put into your body. However, your demeanor is very, very important. And the other guy he went up against and started trying to be loud against is Andrew Wilson. And Andrew Wilson is a guy who uses a lot of logic. I actually really, really like Andrew Wilson. He's on the Whatever podcast a lot of times, but he debates with women or other men and stuff like that, and he gives a lot of solid sound points. He's a Christian man. He's married. He has a lot of his principles are based around family and stuff like that. But no, he's a very, very logical dude. And yeah, Wes Watson just really, really embarrassed himself in that episode. It's a perfect example of people just thinking to be the loudest makes you the toughest. And yeah, the guy was in prison, but mentally he's not very mentally sound, because you just saw he got destroyed by a guy half his size. It doesn't matter your size, man. It's just,
And
you know,
the crazy part is, like, the panel was actually trying to control them. Like, Myron, who was the host of the show,
yeah.
he actually warned them numerous times. I'm like, yo, you gotta tone it down a little bit. You gotta chill, man. You can't say that. And he just kept going on and on and on and on and on. And it showed to me like he had absolutely no awareness of where he was in the room. He thought that just because
Yeah.
he was the loudest guy there, that he was right, and he was trying to just assert his dominance over everybody. And Andrew just made him look like a complete fool.
Yeah. And I like Myron, and I know at some point he actually did say about, like, we'll have to keep people off, and like, but I do wish Myron would have been a little bit more assertive towards him. Look, I understand he's somebody you want on your show and stuff like that. But yeah, when he's disrespecting you and not listening to what you're saying, I mean, they kick women off their podcast a lot of times. You have to honestly make the threat that, yo, look, dude, you do it one more time. Like, look, Wes, you're my boy, but like, look, we can't have this, man. Like, respectfully,
Yeah,
you got to go. Like, if
because
you're going to keep this up.
that's not how men act. Like, that's not
No.
how value men act. Like, you're supposed to read the room. You're supposed to be stoic. You're supposed to respond back, in kindness. You're supposed to use logic when you make arguments. You can't get overly emotional, whatnot. And that right there to me was a perfect demonstration of your topic today. Like, if anybody hasn't seen it, I highly encourage y'all to watch that clip. I think it's 15, maybe 20 minutes long, but it perfectly describes the topic that Steve is talking about, especially if you're a man out there.
Exactly. And when the other guy is coming at him with logic, he goes to personal attacks. And when you go to personal attacks inside of
It's over. You lost the debate.
it's over. Yeah, that debate, that discussion is over, because at that point the other person has won. He was calling him. He was saying shit like, "Look, you got bitch titties. Like, you got titties. You don't even work out. Look, like, oh yeah, sure your children are proud of you." Like, he starts just getting real personal. And our interest questions were not they were not like personal attacks. They were
Yeah,
just,
I thought they were fair considering the conversation they were having.
yeah, he just challenged him, and he didn't like being challenged. Like, all he did was he challenged his assumption about materialism. That's all he was at. He was just challenging him on materialism, and he didn't like it. So he just said, like, you don't got money, you'll never understand. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, when it gets to that level, it's over. You've lost. It's, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't even have to be a win or lose, but if you're having a debate, you've lost. Like, you go to personal attacks.
Right.
So yeah, being the loudest definitely insane. I know some people that honestly talk way too much. I was saying, like, it can be in anything. Like, and I've done this too before. I was like, yo, back, like, I'm in a relationship now, but I was like, back when I used to be like, when I was single and stuff, sometimes, you meet a girl, like, you see it even in relation, like, dating, you're like, oh, this chick's cool and everything like that. The shit don't work out. And guess what? You fucking over talked about her. You overspoke about her. And then guess what? You look a fucking moron because, like, it didn't wind up working out.
Yeah,
Women
that's happened to me multiple times.
Yep. We get excited. It's new, it's fresh. We're like, oh, but winds up not working out. It's like, and then, like, that's a lesson you learn. Like, all right, next time, I'll keep a little more quiet before anything else. And I'm sure women have the same issues. With the guy, they're really excited about a guy, and then they look fucking stupid because the guy plays her or something. But it goes relationships. It goes with goals. I know so many people who talk about their next move all the freaking time, and like you said, as men, we tend to like real men tend to use logic, and they back it up by action. Over speaking on things, I'm a big believer in this. We do make our own destiny, but I think over speaking on things like our next moves and stuff like that actually can be how do I say here? It can be kind of like a jinx, stuff doesn't turn out the way you want it and stuff like that. I think over speaking on things and over speaking on your next move or your next goals can actually be a pitfall, can be a problem. I was just telling the audience before you came on, I was like, I was speaking about future episodes on here because I'm giving you guys like an update on like our content. However, a lot of the back end stuff I keep relatively quiet. I don't really speak to people on it. I keep it quiet. That when I have like the marketing meetings, like things I'm doing behind the scenes, I keep like anything to the website or things like that, I keep that relatively quiet. So you really don't know my next move when I'm posting content. But yeah,
No, that's how it should be though. You gotta keep people intrigued.
exactly.
If everybody knows what your next move's going to be, it's a wrap. I think having a little bit of mystery to it and not knowing what's going to be next. I mean, that you got to keep. That's how you keep people tuned in.
100%. Yeah. And I think one of the big things you can take away how to kind of be silently attractive to in conversation is to speak a little less, but also remember things that people say in conversation so you can refer back to them later. I think when you remember things and you can bring them up in future conversations or further along in the conversation that you're currently having, I think that shows the other person that you're listening, you're hearing them, and that's very important because it shows respect inside of a conversation. If you're always focused on what you're going to talk about next, and when they're talking, you're not listening. You're just thinking, "What am I going to say next?" and stuff like that. That people can feel like they're not heard, and then they feel disrespected inside the conversation, even if they don't openly tell you that. Subconsciously, that may be how they're feeling.
Right now, I mean, listening and comprehending go hand in hand. It's one thing to listen, but you also have to be able to comprehend what the other person is saying, so that way, once they're finished, you can go ahead and you can make your point and you can go forward from there. I mean, a lot of times when people butt in and stuff like that, it shows that they lack clear listening skills or whatnot, or then maybe it could even indicate that they have poor social skills and they might not be just as good at that.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the other ones I was saying was texting less. I think texting less actually goes further, and I'm somebody who's guilty. Like my texting habits are weird. So I was saying before you jumped on, I was like, sometimes when I'm texting people, I text more. Sometimes I text a lot less. But then also, I feel like I text people and then I fucking can take days to respond to people, like depending on like how busy I am or what's going on, or I'm not
Yeah,
fucking great.
well, I think the key with that is I think context is very important. So
Yeah,
it depends on what you're texting the person about. So if you're texting somebody in regards to a business that you're running,
yeah,
obviously, that's somebody that you're going to be texting to, a whole lot of time. If it's just something personal or just, something casual or whatnot, then yes, you might go a few days without texting somebody because, you're busy doing other things. So I think, the context of that is very, very important.
100%, 100%. Yeah, it's something that I try not to be. I try not to over text people anymore too. This is something that I'm gonna say too. This comes to down to any relationship. Like you meet a friend, say you're another guy, and you meet a guy who's really, a couple guys that are really cool. You guys can wind up all being friends and being boys and shit like that, or it could just be a potential relationship. You're dating somebody. You're dating a new girl, you're dating a couple new girls. You're just kind of playing the field. When it comes to this, draw the line. So like what I mean by that is don't over pursue. Unfortunately, over pursuit it turns kind of anybody off, right? It doesn't have to just be a potential relationship or date or girls that you're dating. It can also be friendships with other guys. You're over persistent. It's going to kind of be a turnoff. So what I say is, when you're trying to meet up with people or you're trying to do something, leave the ball and like just you can initiate the meetup. Like, hey, why don't we hang out this time? If they can't make it or they flake for whatever reason, leave the ball in their court at that point for them to reach out to you. Don't over pursue. Don't try again. Give them like one chance. And maybe if it's with a girl with a date, I will even that if they flake on you, it's in there. The ball's in their court to reschedule to be open to rescheduling. Don't sit there and constantly pursue people because it just kind of what it really ultimately shows is it shows neediness, and neediness is displayed as unattractive. So what I say is when you silent confidence is to hang back. You can initiate the meetup. As a man, when you're dating a girl, you're probably going to be the one pursuing at first. But if they back off, or not back off, but if they flake some with some, it could be a legitimate excuse, could be a bullshit excuse. Okay, cool. Sounds like you're not able to make like make it. It's like, hey, it's like hit me up when you're able to get together, and you just leave it there. And it's the same thing with other friendships too. It's like, hey, hit me up whenever you like, hit me up when you decide you want to get together or meet up or something like that. You have to kind of just leave it in other people's court, and you have to be you have to be confident in that approach. And guess what? If they don't ever hit you back up, then it is what it is. You just kind of have to leave it at that.
Yeah, well, if they don't hit you back up, then that right there should tell you
Yeah.
everything that you need to know. I mean, they flicked on you for a reason. Maybe they weren't interested in you to begin with, or maybe they just got cold feet in the beginning and they just didn't want to deal with the headache of getting talked at and whatnot. So they just, took the easy way out and just, flaked. I mean, sometimes you have to draw boundaries with people and just that's like you said, leave it in their court. They made their decision and it's time for you to make yours. You let them know how you think and leave it like that.
Yep. You can't pursue a connection with someone who isn't willing to pursue that the same way. It doesn't have to be dating. It could be friendships as well. Look, we all have phones. We all have the ability to reach out to each other. Look, if someone else isn't willing to, work, grow that relationship or, whatever it does, like friendships, dating, whatever, then hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to just kind of leave it at that. Over pursuing is not going to help. It's just not going to help. What is that going to do? Friendships, relationships, everything's a two-way street. So
Oh
you
yeah,
have to be
you don't want to over pursue because then to the other person it makes it look as though or it makes it seem as though you're up their ass. And even though that might not be your intention, maybe you legitimately do want to, see them or whatnot. But if you over pursue, it could turn the other person off or whatnot, or it might not they might not look at you the same way as they did before. So you have to find, what the right balance is.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, what it shows is over pursuit kind of shows is it shows this person has too much time on their hands. They're needy. You know what I mean. It's just the
Yeah,
perception
well,
you get off.
to use dating as an example, if you over pursue, it might be a sign that you might look desperate. The other person could see that, oh, if he's over pursuing me or whatnot, that means that he must not have many other options. And it might come,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you are desperate. I'm just saying that it comes off as looking as though you're desperate. So, perception is very, very important. You want people to perceive you as being strong and whatnot. But when your actions dictate that, it's not a good look.
Exactly. It's really not. See if there's any. I'm just gonna go to the comments here and see if we have anything on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Let's
did that ever change? Like, did they ever fix that to where they put the Facebook comments on the screen or not?
Nah, they still don't allow you to. So we got a couple of likes, no comments in. I just wanted to double check. I hadn't checked that since we started here, so just want to make sure that I'm picking up anything. It's unfortunate, yeah, because it was so easy. You could just see the comments pop up here, just
Yeah,
like they do on YouTube. But unfortunately, yeah, nah, nothing pops up here. So
it only allows YouTube comments, right?
yeah, just YouTube comments. So
Right. Okay.
I was gonna say another thing to do when you got to think about being silently attractive inside conversation is to change the goal. So one like a lot of times what a lot of people think I feel like in conversations, especially when they're younger, maybe and growing up, getting like as they're growing older, is that they need to do something cool. Like, oh, I need to be the cool guy. I got to be this in conversation. But it's actually not necessarily the case at all. What you should just be aiming for, and this is what I aim for when I'm like, say I'm meeting up with friends, and we're going out somewhere. Just honestly think about having a good conversation with the people you're around. Like, you know what I mean? Just having like an effective, a good, solid conversation with those people and having a good time. You don't really need to be going out trying to be show off and be the cool guy and be this and because honestly, you just come off as you're overcompensating for other things in your life. And honestly, you should just be to enjoy the company of those people and just to have good conversation. There should be no reason to go out. You got to kind of change the goal and how you kind of look at it. Like what are you trying to get out of certain things? I don't know. Like that's how I kind of see things. Is you have to kind of rewrite the goal of
Yeah,
what
I
you're trying
mean,
to do.
yeah, I think it's just going out there and just having fun and just laying loose and just relaxing and just
Yep.
being casual, being cool. No need to put extra pressure on yourself. You're there with friends. You're there to spend time with the people that you care about. You're there to make new memories that one day you can look upon and share those experiences. Yeah, there's absolutely no pressure to you. I mean, there's no reason for you to put such high pressure on yourself and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't have anything to show off to anybody. I mean, you've seen it with you guys. Whenever I hang out with y'all, I very rarely do I ever show off or anything like that. I just enjoy being in other people's company and just look forward to having a good time with people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. I noticed that. So yeah, I definitely noticed that. And honestly, I'm the same way. And I go out with friends or something. I'm just trying to have a good time and let loose. Life is just so stressful as it is. You know what I mean? You have the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Whatever you got going on in your life, and it's time to like let loose. Even when you're with like you're dating somebody and you're with your partner and you have like a date night, it should be a night to go out and enjoy yourself just as a couple. To get away from everything else. So, you take that time and you value that time. Could be with family as well. You enjoy that little bit of time there for sure. So
Yeah,
it's definitely important to take that time. It's necessary. I would say this too with silence. Be comfortable with solitude. So you don't if you need people to be in your life all the time and be around people, that can come off as desperate and needy as well. So what I would say is, you have to honestly get comfortable with a little bit of solitude. Like what I mean by that is that doing some things by yourself. Um, it could be anything. It could be a walk in the park, going to the gym by yourself. It could be going to the movies by yourself. Even maybe going to grab some lunch by yourself and going to sit somewhere, grabbing a coffee by yourself. Comfortability with those things, just going to a spot and just going and chilling and hanging out by yourself. Those are the things that it kind of shows that displays confidence in yourself. You're comfortable being by yourself. When the times that call for it, doesn't mean you got to be introverted and not around people all the time, but there's definitely going to be times where that might be a thing. Um, and I think it's important to be comfortable in those situations. Even traveling somewhere by yourself, you got people that don't want to go anywhere with you. Hey, take that trip by yourself. I'd say take that leap. Maybe start small somewhere inside the states, and then maybe branch out. You know what I mean? Be comfortable with that little bit of solitude.
yeah, I would love to try that. Traveling by myself, it's something that I never really thought about. But when I saw you take that trip to the Dominican Republic a few years back, and I saw the pictures and how much fun you had, I definitely want to experience that by myself. So maybe in a few years or so, when I start traveling, I'll probably take some solo trips.
Yeah, man. It doesn't even have to be the DR. It could be anywhere. It could be somewhere in the states. I know Florida's always a good one. I've never been to Cali, but Cali, I'm sure is probably fun. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just something about going to new places. You've been to Miami. Miami probably be fun to go by yourself. Relax a little bit.
Mhm.
It's a nice spot. Miami's beautiful. But yeah, man, it's just being comfortable doing those things by yourself. And I feel like it's peaceful. When you're by yourself, um, everything's on your schedule. You travel somewhere. Hey, you want to sleep in, you can sleep in. You want to get up early, you can get up early. You can do whatever, and you don't have to be on anybody else's schedule. You're on your own schedule, and you can literally do whatever the hell you want in a new spot. You know what I mean? Somewhere that's not home, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, basically, the gist of it is you have to be comfortable being by yourself. You have to be comfortable, not relying on other people or whatnot. I mean, some people unfortunately have a hard time with that, man. Especially if we're talking about a couple, they've been together a long time or whatnot, and they broke up, and they might not be used to just staying by themselves. They might need that validation from the other person or whatnot, so they go out there and seek it somewhere else. But yeah, no, I mean, being happy alone, that's a powerful thing to do, because if you can master that, you can do anything.
Literally, yeah. If you can be comfortable alone, I
Mhm.
think not having any community, human connection for like. So that's not what I'm saying, guys. And if you're thinking that,
Yeah,
not
no,
having
no, 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 yeah.
yeah, just in the times when are necessary. So it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
like,
because you need your alone time. You need time to yourself. You need time to think about your thoughts and stuff like that.
yeah,
Sometimes you just need that day to yourself. Yeah, obviously.
yeah. Because like obviously, too much solitude can lead to like it's natural as humans. We're wired for connection. So it's like you know what I mean? You lock someone up in a house for like 30. They've done experiments on this. You lock someone in a house for 30 days by themselves. They're not allowed to go outside, do anything, talk. They're not allowed to talk to anybody. No cell phones, no nothing. They'll literally almost go insane because it's like we're wired for connection. But there's going to be times when people aren't around, say your friends are out doing something, or other people are out or away or something like that. Those are times when you could, family's not around. You just do some things by yourself, and the more you do it, the more comfortable things can be. You know what? It can be really, really peaceful. You move at your own pace. You don't have to rush to be somewhere. It's cool. Honestly, I really enjoy taking hikes or walks by myself. Going to the gym. Like, I don't like, I like working out with friends here and there, but most of the time I like to do it by myself. Sometimes just going and grabbing a coffee by myself, some things like that. And I've definitely traveled, by myself before too. And I'll probably take some solo trips in the future. But yeah, man, it's just there's just something powerful about it. You say you're hungry and you want to go out to eat, but nobody's like around. Go out and grab that bite to eat by yourself. Go to a local diner, or whatever. Go sit inside, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. Or you can just do a takeout and just go to a local park somewhere, sit on a bench and just, eat that food by yourself. I've done that
Real
plenty of
true.
times.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's a perfect example too. Yep, you can do that as well. You got parks near you. You got some good sites. Just take the food to go and just go chill. Yeah, absolutely. It's what I mean. It's just being comfortable with a little bit of solitude. And like you said, if you can master that, that's a very, very powerful thing to master. So, you know, essentially, you don't need anybody to be around you. You know what I mean? It's going to be much more. You're going to come off a lot less desperate, whether it be in friendships, dating, relationships, whatever. If you can master that, some people just need to be in the presence of other people. I feel like all the time. So I've literally seen
That's
it.
that's tough. That's tough because if you can't get that other person's validation, yeah, it's gonna screw up with your self confidence. That's why when if you can master the art of being alone, that boosts your confidence or whatnot because now you feel as though you can take on the world and shit, and you don't care about what other people think.
Yep, exactly. You see it. You see it in relationships a lot of times. Say somebody was in a long term relationship or even maybe a short term relationship, and every time they break up, you know what I mean? Every time they break up or something like that, they have to hop to a new relationship. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it. You know what I mean? There are people that just goes to show you're just not comfortable being alone. You need to have the validation of somebody else rather than being alone. So we actually have a comment here. Let me see. Mike Aikens commented in. He said, "Yo, what's up, Mike? What's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you." Yeah, nah, it's just silent. So that's the thing. It's like, some people just being alone is like scary for them. Like they don't want to, you know what it is? They wake up like next to somebody for the longest time. And then guess what? When that person's not there and that relationship ends, they're not comfortable like staying, like sleeping by themselves. You know what I mean? They have to have somebody there. like, and that can be
Yeah,
very
but
dangerous.
yeah, because you're gonna make wrong decisions at that point because you're gonna be looking for the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're going off your emotion. You're
Mhm.
going off emotion. You're not really going logically. So you're not going to probably make the best and sound decisions. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just crave for so much for that connection that like we'll do anything to have it. And the problem is like sometimes not at really the benefit of ourselves. And that's what you honestly have to be careful of. So that happens in conversation too, with silence and talking too much too, and oversharing. Sometimes we're just so we're not comfortable with having that silence that we overshare. We say things that we didn't really necessarily want other people to know in conversation. I've seen it, and it can be detrimental.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%, man.
Yeah, Mike said, "Yup, it's been 8 years for me. It would be different without my wife." Yeah, yeah, man. It's that's the thing when you're with somebody for so, and it's a good thing. You know what I mean? You're in a long term relationship. That's what everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people strive for. Some people don't really care to ever get married or be with the same person for the rest of their life, but a lot of people do. They strive for the traditional. They want to marry and be together for a long time, and that's great. It's just we obviously don't ever intend to not be with the person we love. So we don't ever intend for that to happen. Nobody goes into a long-term marriage or relationship thinking, "Hey, we're not going to last down the line." I don't think anybody thinks that. But it is something to think about. Obviously when we're single or something happens, God forbid, you know what I mean? You can't control other people. Um, that's something that's not talked about a lot, like of like how people deal with that or react with that. He said, I'm married to, took him, I think he said, I'm married to, took a minute, but I did it. Yeah, man, proud of you. I saw I think I saw on your Facebook, man, you had the ring, you had the rings and stuff, man. Yeah, you got yeah, man, you're married, you have your two kids. That's great, man. That's what everybody strives for, man. They want to have the family. It's like everybody says the American dream, but the actual dream of life, I think one of the most priceless things is to be in a healthy marriage with somebody who unconditionally loves you, you love them. You both play your roles, correctly. The dynamics are correct and everything, and then you have your children, with that person. You get to spend your life with that person, not in the Disney fantasy land version of it, but in the like actual realistic, wholesome version of it. I think that's one of the most great things. If you can have a healthy marriage, and you can, have your children, that's the most fantastic thing, man. It's one of the most priceless things in this world. That's us as providers, man. As men, that's one of the things that makes us want to provide and want to do. We're providing for our family. We get to come home to our family at the end of the day, and it's one of the biggest motivators in this life. On the men's side.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%, man. I couldn't put it better. I mean, as a man, you want to create your legacy, and man, you know, marrying picking the woman that you're going to marry, that's going to be one of the most important decisions that you're going to make as a man,
Sure.
because you're going to be with that person hopefully for the rest of your life. That's going to dictate a large portion of your life or whatnot. So you want to make sure that you make the right decision. But yeah, I mean, as a man, the way I look at it is, I eventually would like to have a wife and kids, and I want to enhance my legacy on to the next generation.
Absolutely. That's the critical part about it, man. That's what motivates us, makes us want to. And you know what I mean. I think those are the two biggest. I was actually just having a conversation about that this week. I think the two biggest motivators when a man's making his money or trying to make a mark on this, it's to number one, for the familial aspect of it. You want to provide for your children, build your legacy, build your family, and also number two, to make your mark on the world. So there's a lot of problems out there that need to be solved. You want to build your legacy in life too and make your mark on the world, which is I think that's a motivator as well. And then that's where health, we always say the trifecta: wealth, and then you need to be healthy too, because guess what, if you're not healthy, you don't have the energy to do that. So
Yep, all that money means nothing if you don't have good health.
exactly. Mike said yes, it is. He said, I got the rich man family, boy and a girl. Yeah, man, that's great. Yeah, man, you got a son and daughter.
Yeah, that's what I hope for, Mike. I'm good, and I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff, man. Yeah, I know his son's older, and then he had his little girl a couple years ago. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Provide for that family, man. You got a family there, bro, and just sit there and work your ass off for that family, brother. Like also said, he's like, and yeah, we have our ups and downs, but I would never change anything about us and our family. Yeah, there's always going to be ups and downs, man. That's the thing, obviously there should be more ups than downs, but there's going to be ups and downs, man. No marriage or relationship is ever going to be on a high all the time. You're not always going to be perfect. You ain't going to always be on good notes. Yeah, it's just how it is. There is, and this isn't disrespect to any women out there, but we all know women are emotional. So this is how it is. It's how we're wired. So there's gonna be days where shit might not be logical, and it's just hey, it's what I mean. But hey man, there's gonna be ups and downs. We're not always gonna see eye to eye. We're not always gonna agree on things. As long as there's more ups than downs, you know what I mean, and you guys can healthily communicate. That's the best part, man. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
just
if you
having a
guys can communicate and understand each other, that's the key. Because no relationship is going to be perfect. You're going to have days where you're going to have problems, and you're going to have brighter days as well. So it's just
Yep.
the key is, how do you get past those bad days, and it'll help you make you stronger.
Yep. I would actually say it's kind of odd if there is no disagreement inside the relationship, because that probably means that one person is just keeping their mouth shut on stuff that they probably don't agree with, and they're just not saying anything. Disagreement is healthy actually in a relationship. You know what I mean? There's going to be things that you guys are definitely not going to agree on. I don't care how in sync you are with each other, how much you guys agree with a lot of things. There's definitely still going to be some things that you're not going to agree with. There's going to be bad days, things are going to happen, and you know, um, but yeah, this is part of a relationship and part of a marriage. You're married to somebody for freaking 30, 40 years. I mean, that's just how it goes. You're spending your life, you're living with that person. So it's just how it is. And that's where
Man.
silence can go a long way too. Letting the other person, in the, Mike said, he said, to be honest, my downs in my relationship is our family, not staying out of a relationship or business. There's much more to the story, but man, yeah, man, it's a touchy thing, man. It's I feel like a relationship, it's nobody else's business, man. It's between you and that person. Family or friends get involved too much, it can be a serious problem. Um, I've seen it myself, other people's relationships, family are butting in too much, or even friends butting in too much. And that's the thing. If you only listen to your friends or family, what they're saying, you know what I mean? Like, it depends. It depends. But I'll say, like, at the end of the day, you have to make decisions for your relationship. People can't like have like a family are always trying to butt in, or friends are trying to butt in too much. At the end of the day, it's like, whose relationship is it? You have to make, and good advice can go a long way. If friends or family might have good intentions. However, a lot of the business and relationships between you and that person. That's why I say too. Social media is critical. I just know, like, anytime I'm in, like, I'm having issues or something, I don't like to ever go. You can probably agree with this, Mario. Like, I don't like to ever post anything, like even passive aggressive stories or anything, like, on social media. I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this, the other day. We were just saying, like, we don't like to post, like, our personal business, like, on social media, because it just invites other people into the conversation. So, like, they don't need to be there. People you might not even fucking seen for over 10 fucking years, or maybe you never even seen them in real life. Just butting into your life. It doesn't. Yeah.
No, no, I value my privacy. I
Yep.
agree. Yeah, I don't like to post my personal crap on social media or whatnot. It's firstly nobody's business or anything like that. That's up to my discretion. And yeah, I
Yep.
mean, as far as other people butting in into your relationship, I mean, you have to draw boundaries with people and let them know,
Yep.
like, hey, look, this ain't cool. And if it continues to happen, then we're not going to have a relationship moving forward, or I'm going to go very low contact with you moving forward and shit like that. Because
Yep.
if people don't respect your boundaries, it goes back to what you were saying. I mean, whose relationship is this?
Yeah.
So
Because this is what I always say for the men out there. And this is actually for both ends though. But respect comes first a lot of times, then love for men. But I'll tell you this: without respect, there is no love.
I agree. Yep,
Without respect, there's no love.
that's
It's
a
just
wrap.
yeah.
Yeah, she has to first respect you in order to love you.
Yep. So boundaries are important, man. 100%. Yeah. And sometimes it's uncomfortable for us to have those conversations, man, but they go a long way moving forward. A long way. Those uncomfortable conversations are very important. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, but no, they have to be had because if it doesn't, it's going to lead to problems down the line. Just like Michael said, man, with family members butting in and stuff like that. If you don't put your foot down and, if you don't put your foot down, and set boundaries with people, man, you're just basically telling them that that they can walk all over you.
yeah, yeah. And 100 I agree with you, bro. Mike said I did a lot for her family, and there was 3 times when I was homeless, got kicked out. I pay for everything in both houses. I lived with them. Bro, I just been through a lot with her family. Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate you being transparent, bro. Absolutely. Yeah, man. If you ever want to talk, like, privately too, bro, yeah, absolutely. Reach out to me, man. Yeah, it's a tough situation for sure, man. Yeah, that's the thing, man. We can do so much for other people, but that's where you have to we have to analyze, right? As men, like, let's use our logic and let's analyze here. We're doing something for them, but then if they, you know what I mean? If they're not reciprocating that back, then we need to stop doing those things. We can't be doing anything for them. You know what I mean? Like, if say, like, we're you said you pay for everything in both houses. Like, yeah, but if we're doing favors for them, we're doing a lot for them. Guess what? They don't respect us. We pull that back. We don't do that anymore. We draw that boundary. We draw that boundary heavily, brother. Heavily. Like, you just, hey, look, this is not happening anymore. I'm not doing this. It's like, and manipulation can maybe sometimes come in. I really don't know the situation. I don't know the full situation at all, obviously. So, but I'm just saying, if I do something for somebody and then they disrespect me, look, well, that's not happening again. That boundary's drawn. And it's like, and I'm just, they have an issue with it. I'm going to tell them about it. But, also, you got to be careful. Some people can try to be manipulative and try to gaslight and do different things to make you feel like you're the problem. And there's a fine line. You know what I mean? There's gaslighting and manipulation from the other end, but also there's accountability on our end too, right? We have to honestly understand too. our part and things. But yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, also, yeah, it depends too. Like if somebody's offering you constructive criticism, that's one thing. But if they're
Yep.
constantly butting into your business, that's
Yep.
a whole new conversation. I'm like, yo, that shit's not going to be tolerated.
Yep. And that's just an honest conversation. You just say, "Hey, look, I don't appreciate you butting in, like, or you don't even have to say butting in. I don't like you interfering inside of my personal business.
Hmm.
Look, this is something I don't like. This is something I don't want, and I'm just not going to tolerate it any further going forward. And if you continue to do that, what I see that as is that I see that as disrespect. You're not respecting my wishes. You're not respecting my boundaries. And look, if you want to continue to have a relationship with me, then hey, look, you have to respect me first. Because
Hmm.
like I said, love in a relationship doesn't have to be marriage or whatever. It could be friendships, could be family. If you love me and you care about me in whatever our dynamic, our relationship is, you will show me respect. I show you respect, you show me respect. And that's the end of it. That's it. That's the boundary. To be honest, I want the world to know about the fakes. I don't talk to them no more. Many of the times that was my problem. My heart was too big. I'll definitely get on a podcast and talk all about it. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could talk about, you know what I mean? Like some things though, man, all respect is like some things I think just if you want my personal opinion, I just think some things just remain to me, should be private. You know what I mean? Like I like it's not something I would personally do. It doesn't mean I don't respect you or anything, brother. You know I do. You're my guy, but I just think I don't know, Mary. What's your thought on it? My thought is I just think certain things should remain private. I just don't.
I Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so too. Unless if they're like slandering you, like if they're talking shit about
yeah,
you all across social
yeah.
media, like that's a different scenario.
Yes.
But
Get the word
I
out.
mean, the thing is, I don't. The way I see it is, why the hell would I want to visit a headache and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah,
I Yeah, just it's in the past. Learn from it or whatnot, and just move forward. I don't see the need to dwell on it.
yeah.
Got
I
around
agree.
month, pay the bills off, and I got money from selling my pop's house.
Yeah,
Yeah, it seems to me, yeah, there's a lot of issues there behind the scenes.
yeah. But you see, man, look, if her family's butting in, bro, I wouldn't be doing those things anymore, man. Look, you did those things in the past, man. Seems like you got a good heart and you're trying to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, man, we can't reward disrespectful behavior. You know what I mean? We just can't do that. We can't tolerate people who don't respect our boundaries. So it's, you know what I mean? And I agree with Mario there. It's different, I guess, if they're slandering your name.
Hmm.
You could hop on a podcast and kind of clear that air. You know what I mean? You could set the record straight. But look, if they're not posting anything about you on social media, different things, I would handle it in private. And I would just like kind of, because you know what, man, it could just stir up more controversy and more headache. The biggest piece that you can get from anything like this, I think, is to just, if they disrespect the boundaries going forward, is to just cut off that relationship until, and I understand it's very difficult when you're in a relationship with somebody or you're married to somebody and it's their family or something like that. But you just keep an honest conversation with like your wife and just say, hey, look, I'm not gonna bash your relationship with them. You can continue to have one, but look, I just don't at this time want a relationship with them until they can come around and to respect those boundaries. Now, if they come back around, they actually start to respect your boundaries and things change. Okay, yeah, maybe you can open up that relationship. But if for the current time being, if it's just you know what I mean, if it's how it is, it's just said it's bad, bro. It's really bad. Her brother stole my 5-year old phone, 33.
33.
Yeah, he stole your 5-year phone. You said.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. You have to clarify
From
that.
my 5-year phone. Oh, I think maybe you meant to say the 5-year iPhone, the 13. I think
Maybe. Oh,
maybe.
your 5-year old's iPhone 13. Man, I just know the word steal is in there, and family and stealing. Man, I'll just say, just going off of that, man, not good, not good. He said he said his son's stole his son's 5-year-old his son's phone. Man, like just stealing and family, man, it just seems like it's very toxic. So I would cut those people out of my life, man. Look, your brother wants to steal from me, boom, I'm done. I'm not My relationship with him
Especially,
is done. I don't
especially
want
when
him
you
around
steal,
my children.
especially when you steal from a kid. Damn.
Yeah. So man, what I would do, I'm not a psychologist, bro. I'm not a relationship advisor. I'm not licensed or anything like that. But what if you just want if you just want what I would do in this situation, I would keep it real and I would just tell my wife that look, I'm not having a relationship with the brother anymore. I'm cutting that off. And look, I don't want him around our children. I don't want him around our children. I'm gonna be realistic.
Yeah, because people know right from wrong. They know you can't do crap like that.
No. So I would just say I don't want them around our children. You need to respect this, and you know what I mean. Like like unless he comes forward, he's accountable and he admits what he did. He apologizes. He finds a way to repair. That's the only time I would and I'd give him one chance. But if I'm in your situation, man, I would cut that out real quick. I'd be done. I'm just gonna keep it real. I'd be done, bro. Like
I don't
you're
think.
stealing from
I
my
don't.
child.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that deserves a second chance. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
Yeah, you're right
Only
though.
from
To
a
be
kid.
honest, man, you might be right on that. I'm gonna
Nah.
be honest. You're stealing from my fucking child. Like, nah. Like,
Yeah.
we're at that point. You're like, I can't trust you for shit. You're over here stealing from a freaking 5-year-old. Like, if
That's
that's the truth, man, it's just that relationship needs to be cut off instantly.
yeah.
Um,
So you definitely ain't coming to the next family reunion. I'll tell you that.
yeah, and just keep that conversation honest with your wife. Just be like, look, I understand he's your brother. I don't want him around our children. I would just keep it real. It's It's tough, man. Those are tough conversations, man.
Yeah,
I'm so
this is a good example though of the complexities within a relationship. It's a great
yep,
example of
yep,
relationships not being perfect and people going through tough times and stuff like that.
yep, yep. Mike, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry to hear you're going through that, man. I am. I genuinely am. It's just yeah, man, those are tough conversations. It's never easy when we have toxic family relationships around us and stuff like that. And it's especially tough when the family is on the other side. You know what I mean? It's not our family. You know what I mean? We feel sometimes. And that's the thing. We need to take a step back, because if my family was doing the same thing, in my relationship, I got kids and stuff. I don't care if it's a brother, mother, father. I'm not having that around my children.
Hmm.
That's just not happening. Like, at the end of the day, my children need me to protect them, to be their protector, and to, look out for the best interest in them. I can't have that shit. I can't have that shit in my home. Like, it's just, that's not happening. So it's just yeah, Mike, if you ever want to talk behind the scenes or anything like that, man, I'm here. You know what I mean? Just feel free to reach out to me. I'm not sure if you got my number, but I got you on Messenger. So yeah, dude, it's just yeah, man, it's a perfect example of tough relationships, man. They're tough things, and you know what I mean? Like the dynamics of having ups and downs in relationships, man. Nothing's ever fucking perfect, but having strong boundaries is very important. Very important. And you have to stay true to those boundaries too, because you can draw boundaries all you want, but if you don't stay true to your boundaries, then people ain't going to respect those boundaries anyway.
Yep. Yeah, man. Y'all committing with the BS, man. I ain't tolerating no games. You do
Nope.
shit like that, man, you out. Man, no second chances.
Yep, because it sends a message. It sends a
Hmm.
message that, guess what, that shit won't be tolerated. You want to do it again, boom, you're out.
Exactly. It'll get the other people in line.
Yep, exactly. You might have known me at a certain time, but it's like, oh shit, Steve's not playing no more. Like,
Hmm.
boom, it sends a message. It sends a message loud and clear. He said it's crazy. I stay with her because she is not the problem. Or see her family, but what kills them more, I stay around. It's her. He said, wait, it's her family. He said, it her. Okay. He said, it's crazy. I stay with her because she is not the problem. It's her family, but what kills them more is I stay around. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man, especially when you're staying with family. It's tough, man. It's very tough. I would just say, bust your ass, bro, and get out there and just try to get out of that situation. I mean, it's just shit. Like, y'all need to be by yourselves. You can't be staying with that family, man. It's just toxic. It seems. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the problem right there, man. Yeah, y'all got at
Yeah,
your own spot.
yeah. You got to get out of there.
Because
You
the
got to get
thing,
out of there, bro.
because the problem is, if he's staying with them, man, that means that they have the leverage.
They
He
have the
has absolutely
leverage.
no leverage in the situation. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
you gotta get the fuck out of that environment, man, and take the leverage back.
Yeah, whether it's working 2 full-time jobs, whatever, bro, you got to get the hell out of there, man. It's just, yeah, dude. I'll be honest, man, because you know what, man, nothing is more powerful or like priceless than your peace, man. Your peace. You need peace, bro. Like, it's just to come home from work every day to that, man. It's just. Oh, he said I don't. He said I don't live there no more. They was mad when I left. No one in there got power running nothing. Damn. But yeah, man. Well, that's good that you're out of there, man. Hopefully, I'm assuming
Yeah,
I'm.
right here, This right here demonstrates the power of walking away.
Yep, exactly. Got yeah, the power and owner nothing. Yeah, it's that's the important part, man. I hope that the three like you and the wife and the two kids, man, are all out of there together though, man, because it's like y'all need to be under the same roof together. It's you and your family, man. Ain't nobody else's it's you, your wife, and the two little ones, man. It's nobody else's business. It's between yous. So
Man,
it's
room for you, Mike. Hang in
yeah,
there,
man.
buddy.
Yeah, man. Rooting for you too. Yeah, exactly, man. Rooting for you, man. Sorry you're going through the BS, man. It's just sometimes it's the punches of life, man. But you know what I mean? It's just yeah, man. It's like Mario said, if you're living under someone else's roof, man, they got the leverage.
Yeah,
It's just
just how it is. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Life's about advantages and disadvantages, man.
Okay, good. He said, yeah, we're all out. Cool.
That's
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah. So at this
finally
point, man,
something positive.
yeah. So at that point, man, yeah, man, I'd set those boundaries. You don't live there anymore. You know, you ain't coming around my kids and stuff. It's like, unless like, especially the brother, man, the brother can't be around my kids. Like,
Nah, Brand, stealing from a 5-year-old.
you
That's
ever hear stealing from my kids, man? Like, no way, no way. Um, and then whatever it is with the rest of the family, boundaries, man. If they want to disrespect those boundaries, it shows no respect. So, power of walking away. Man, we'll wrap up in a couple minutes here. But man, I'm glad we were able to have some good conversation here tonight, man. It's just your silence is powerful, man. So guess what, man? Next time they reach out, just fucking keep that shit. I would draw the boundaries, man. And after that, boom, I'm going silent.
Yep,
You want to
let them puff and huff all they want, man.
Yep, you can cry about it all you want. I don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
I don't give a fuck. It's like at the end of the day, it's like I need to respect. I need to do what's best for me and mine. And hey, my peace is valuable.
Exactly. Yours comes second.
Exactly. Yeah, your piece should be most valuable to you,
Hmm.
not to me. My piece is most valuable to me. I'm just being realistic.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Man, crazy. Crazy. Well, Mike, I'm rooting for your brother. Sorry to hear you going through all that, man. And we're gonna get ready to wrap this one up here because we're already at 9 o'clock. Almost been an hour and a half, hour and 17 minutes. I did go like 10 minutes after the scheduled time, so I was like putting promo on Instagram and stuff. But whew, man, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I mean, I didn't know if anybody was gonna kind of join in tonight, so I know Rich is busy with the move and everything, and then Rob's obviously busy too. He has the business, so wasn't sure,
Yeah,
man. But
no
appreciate
problem,
you
bro.
joining.
No problem, man. I got you. I'm here for Locked In Nation.
Yes, sir. Next week we got the Phillies. So actually, big game tonight. I actually don't know what the score is, but the Mets and the Brewers are playing. That's going to determine who the Phillies are playing. Let me see this.
It's actually 0-0 in the seventh inning.
Holy crap! It's already in the seventh inning. Oh yeah, they started at like 7 something. Wow.
Yeah, it's 0-0.
I think
Coming looks like this one's gonna come down to the wire too.
yeah, it looks like whoever gets the first run is going to probably win this one.
Yeah, I think we also have football on tonight too. I think the Bucks play the Falcons. Let me see.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
Buccaneers
maybe.
the Bucks are winning 10-7.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be watching that Mets game when I get out of here. But like I said, appreciate it. You know, man, I appreciate it. I'll be on another pod. Yeah, man. Now you can come on, man. Well, let's discuss something behind the scenes, man. We'll get you back on, man. It's been a few years, man. So I'd love to get you back on at some point. But we'll definitely talk behind the scenes, man. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Let me real quick before we end. Just check Facebook. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so nothing on that page. Let me check the other one. Yeah, we got a lot of plays, a lot of likes. We got a few likes, but no comments on Facebook. So I get it, though. The promo was relatively late. It was same-day promo and stuff like that. So I didn't get to send my texts out either. So usually that helps. But, hey, man, we make it work. I'm excited for the next 4 episodes we got coming up, but I'm also, this is actually a good episode, man. We were able to make a nice conversation out of it, but appreciate you coming on, my brother. Same to everybody else who's streaming. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you next week for episode 187. We'll be doing some Phillies postseason baseball episode. It's going to be a fun one. And yeah, guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you, my brother. Have a great weekend.
Anytime, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
Yep. Take care, guys.